everyone, Gilman with Live Wealthy, back with our weekly Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded during the week, some key support and resistance levels to look out for, and therefore what the future for the stock could look like. So real quick, if you enjoyed these, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. I try to do daily Apple update videos as well as this weekly video, and comment down below if there's anything related to Apple that you'd like to talk about or other stocks that you're currently watching. So apologies I wasn't able to upload a video on Friday. I was away from my laptop, but we'll quickly take a look at how Friday's trading was and cover that before we cover the week. And another thing that I kind of want to say is, as someone who studies Apple stock on a daily basis, right? I just want to tell you guys that no one can accurately predict what the stock market is going to do. No one can predict what Apple is going to do. If they say they can and they don't have millions and millions and millions of dollars to show for it, they're probably lying. What we can do is we can predict, hey, if the market is strong and Apple's at 118, I want to watch it break 119. Or if the market's weak and Apple goes down, I want to see it break 117. And those kind of levels, right, will show us, hey, is Apple a good buy right now? Should I sell Apple? Should I buy more Apple? That's the analysis that we can do. If it goes up, here's what we watch out for. If it goes down, here's what we watch out for. And based on some of those technical analysis, maybe we can sort of say, hey, I think it's going to do this, like I did on Thursday about Apple going down on Friday. But no one can accurately predict it. Just something to keep in mind, right? Don't watch anyone's video or buy anyone's course thinking, or buy anyone's like alert service thinking they know for sure when it's going to go up or when it's going to go down. So with that said, let's get right into the video. Let me hit the one-day chart and let's take a look at Friday really quick before we move on to the week. And for that, on Friday, we were down 14 cents for the day. I had talked about how I personally thought that we had gone up for 3 consecutive days, so we were going to fall on Friday. That's something that I said Thursday. And sure enough, we opened up from the pre-market in the mid 118s. We fell pretty hard, right? We went from 118 down to 116s. So we basically, and these are the two channels that I'm going to kind of focus on, both in the Friday analysis and the weekly analysis of 119 and 117. Now I know that these lines are drawn at 119.02 and 116.99, but those are kind of the two levels. So broke below it, and then we barely pushed above it, came back, and then when we went, we were really strong, right, until we got to where the other top end of this channel that we sort of drawn. We kind of went above it, rejected, came down, went up 119.20, right, played around this consolidation area, came down, went up, this time got rejected, and then fell a little into the close. Now, with that being said, just to show you guys that, when I say it's gonna fall, that I do actually take action on it. So I went ahead and bought puts, but since the market was so strong for so the reason I bought puts was the market went up for 3 consecutive days. Since I wasn't really sure that there would be weakness, I was confident that because we were down 3 days in a row, it's likely we see some sort of selling off. Apple had gone up $10 in 3 days. So someone who had bought on Tuesday could now sell on Friday for like an 8, 9, 10% gain, which is huge, especially if you're investing in a company like Apple that's not as risky. However, with the market strength and with the election and everything, I didn't want to buy naked puts, so I bought a put spread. And as you can see, this is as of 8:50, the screenshot of 8:50 on Friday morning, so 20 minutes into the day, with that huge fall that I just showed, I was up $108, which was 33% return on my investment. I'm not showing this to flex, I'm just showing this to say, hey, when I say I think it's going to go down, right? I don't do this all the time, right? But when I say it's going to go down, I'm putting my own money into it. I'm not telling you that it's going to go down and then I go buy calls because I think the stock's actually going to go up. So just something to keep in mind. I don't always have winning trades. I've been wrong. I've been wrong way too many times to count, right? I've lost money the week before the election. But just something to keep in mind when I say that, it's going to do something, I'm actually actively watching to see it do that. And then once it does that, I sort of go in. So with that being said, let's take a look at the weekly chart for Apple, since that'll really help us see kind of what the future for Apple could look like. So what we see here is, Monday wasn't a great day for Apple. We opened up in the 112s, we sold off, dropped as low as 107, 108 was where we kind of ended that day. And I think from the comment section, a lot of you bought in during that time. I bought a couple of shares as well because I think that was a good buying opportunity at a dip level. So Tuesday we went up, so we opened in the 109s, ended in the 110s, but we saw 111s. Come Wednesday, right, we had gapped up huge, we ran, kind of bounced off of this 113 level. So if you guys remember, these horizontal lines are what I've drawn as either support levels or consolidation levels. So what we see here is, before I mentioned on Tuesday, I want to see us getting over the 113 so it can act as support again. Sure enough, we see that happening on Wednesday. We pushed up, we closed in the 115s. What happens Thursday? Again, pre-market, we gap up nicely. We went up to the 119s even, right? And then we kind of came below, we came into this channel, and then we were kind of playing around the 119s. Friday, we saw a sell-off, we pushed up, and then we were sideways. Now, let me kind of zoom out and look at the daily chart, right? Because what I want to point out is these 4 horizontal lines that I've had for days, if not weeks, right? Actually weeks for sure. And what these lines are I know that we've got good support at 113, right? This is at 112.72, but 113, we've talked about, if we go back to September, October, how it's held up as some support, right? The other 3 points that I'm sort of looking at are 117, 119, and 120, 150. The reason being, those are sort of points where if we go back, they've acted as good support points. They've acted as consolidation points, which means when stock gets up to that level, it takes a while, it plays around, and then it kind of decides where to go, whether that's up or down. I had mentioned this point sort of, I think 2 weeks ago when we were here trying to see if we could break in. But when we broke in, and as you could see from the daily candles in the past 2 days, the close here was at 119.03, which is right at that 119 mark, although we did break above it. And then here we see we went above it, but we came back down. So we're struggling to sort of stay up there. What I'm telling you guys from this is, look, there's a lot of still uncertainty. Biden has been announced the winner. The reason the stock market went up is because the Senate holds Republican majority, which means if the Biden-Harris not campaign anymore, I guess, future administration wants to pass anything, they're gonna have to go through the Senate, and it's something super crazy, the Senate's gonna reject it, right? Which is good, because otherwise the Democrats would have control of the Senate, the House, and the presidency, and they could essentially do whatever they wanted. The market likes that there's still some sort of a gridlock for the next 4 years, assuming the Senate stays Republican. Something to keep in mind. What I'm saying with this is, depending on how we open up tomorrow. So we were down slightly on Friday, right? 14 cents, not really bad. We were down another 16 cents after market. Depending on how the futures look this evening, which kind of give an indication of how tomorrow is going to be, if we're green or red, if we see some selling off, if we see some uncertainty, COVID sort of taking a back seat, if that kind of comes back into conversation, we've had more than 100,000 cases over the past few days, we could see a fall. The reason I want to point that out is, look, if we fall from here, I want to see 117 as a key point that we could potentially bounce from. If we push up again, then I want to see 119 as sort of the point we break. I'm giving you those because I don't know what it's going to do, but I want to watch those levels. If we break below 117, we'll take a look at some other points that could hold up as support. If we break 119, the next point I think we push for is 120, 150. Not saying it's going to go from 119 to 120, 150 like that, but just something to keep in mind. If we can get up, right, as you can see, we've gotten above it both days. We can't hold it. We can't close above 119. So that's something I'm watching out for. The other thing I'm watching out for are the moving averages line, which, as you can see, the 20 and the 50 are both at 116 essentially. So the 20 days at 116.32, the 50 days at 116.09. And as we could see on Friday, right, the support was, the low point of Friday, which will be right there, was 116.13, which is right in between those two moving average lines. So we did find some good support there. Taking a look at the EMAs, what we'll see is, EMAs are all the way down there. So we've got the AEMA at 115, as well as a 21, 115.21 and 115.18. 34 is at 115.07. So they're sort of all kind of stacked there, right? And they're slowly going to start coming up, assuming the stock stays where it's at 118, 119. And then we've got the 55 EMA back down at 113. Again, good support along with this 113 line. And then the 89 EMA is all the way down at 109 if we were to fall that much at some point. So what I'm trying to say here is, look, if we fall, I'm going to be watching the 117 level, and I'm going to be watching these stacked EMAs at 115, 21, 115, 18, 115.07. I think we'll find support at 117, assuming the market isn't crazy weak or selling off. If we break that, I'll be watching for the 115. If we break 119, I'll be watching for the 120, 150, right? Again, what Apple does is very dependent on how the market is doing. Apple is a large company, over $2 trillion again, right? So Apple can't be super strong if the market is selling off. And if the market's rising, a lot of times Apple will rise with it. Not saying it's a one-to-one correlation, right? But just something to keep in mind. We do have two sort of things to look forward to, being the stimulus and the vaccine. Assuming the election is behind us, right? And we don't see any crazy riots, we don't see Republicans losing majority, we don't see anything crazy with that, then that could be an uncertain negative event. But the other uncertain negative event is still COVID, as it lingers around and kind of making a return and spreading like crazy during the flu season. So two positives, kind of one negative, and whenever the election's over, that's also that. But with that, that's all I had for you guys today. There is an Apple event, I think on Tuesday, where they announce their MacBooks. I don't see that being as big as the iPhone event, but it could drive some excitement into the stock because they're moving into their own processors and stuff. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, drop a like, subscribe to my channel, drop a comment down below. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day, and until next time.